I am talking with Bristol Marunde, who is a former UFC fighter, former Ultimate Fighter competitor, and now running for city council in Henderson, Nevada, jumping from the real life fight to the political arena. Bristol, thanks for joining me today, and let's get right to it. Just talk to me about the decision to enter into politics at this point.
Yeah, thank you for the intro. That's a good question. A lot of people have asked me that. Even the current city council members and the mayor asked me basically, why the heck are you doing this? They see me as a fighter, as a reality star on HGTV, so they're wondering, why do you want to get into politics? And the simple answer is, my life has progressed now, in business and family are my focus. And now I see what's happening in our communities, and it's extremely important for me to get involved. So I want to get plugged in. I want to contribute, and I want to be an advocate for Ward 2 at the city. Henderson is growing, and the city it's such a cool city. It's, sometimes it's kind of in the shadow of Las Vegas, but Henderson is an amazing place to live, and business is thriving here. And I want to contribute to that, and I want to leave Henderson a better city than when I first moved here.
Well, that is very admirable. Now, you mentioned, like you said, HGTV, people know you from Flipper Flop Vegas. Obviously, the
Yeah.
fight fans know you from the UFC, maybe Strikeforce. Now you're going to go into politics. Maybe people won't know you as well if they don't follow either of those two products, or maybe fight fans
Right.
just want to know. Give me your pitch for your campaign for this one.
Yeah, my pitch for my campaign is, we need responsible growth. Henderson is growing at such a rapid rate. And what does that mean? Well, we need to make sure we have enough qualified police to handle the influx of California residents moving here. And we need to have fire and safety. So I'm going to be an advocate for that. Of course, being in the combat world, I have a lot of friends in the police force, and I look forward to advocating for more qualified police to be on staff. And we need transparency. Too many people don't know anything about their local government. Who's your representative in your district? And I want to be very transparent. I think we can do a better job of bringing in the public and letting everybody know what's happening, who's making the choices for our community, behind the scenes.
Now, I'm going to ask you a couple of quick ones. First of all, your experience as a fighter. Obviously, you have to overcome all sorts of trials, tribulations,
Yeah.
setbacks. Does that carry over into politics? Are there things you can take from that career into your new one?
Yeah, I think fighting plays a lot into whatever I do in life. It's helped me in my, reality TV career. It's helped me handle pressure. And I think being in a pressure cooker and situations that you're uncomfortable with, and still being able to think logically, and handle the stress. And I think that's one of the major key takeaways from being in the fight world, transitioning into business, is handling stress and still being able to perform.
Now, I worked a couple of municipal elections a long time ago in my younger days.
Okay.
Once on the city side, once as an office manager for a candidate, which was just honestly just a job. I wasn't on the political side of things, but I definitely got a little bit of the political experience. This is your first time running as a candidate, I believe, but what's your kind of exposure to politics been like so far? How are you finding it?
Right. It's a whole different world, and I think that I'm happy to be into this world now, because I see that most people, and myself included in the past, really didn't pay attention. We had no clue what was happening on a local level. Only from the news. You see, most people get their politics from the news, but the reality is what's happening in your local municipalities and local government is really affecting your life. That's handling, the growth of the city, your local taxes, your police, fire, all the safety. Those decisions are huge, and that's actually going to affect you. Well, most people are arguing about these, abortion and gun rights and all that stuff. Well, what's happening at home that's actually going to affect you, and that's done right at the city. So what I'm finding out is, wow, the city council has such a large budget, and they're actually bringing in, professional sports teams to the city. They're helping businesses from all over the world come and develop our city, bringing in tons of jobs. And that right there is just, huge for our local residents.
You said something that kind of hit me there, and it's like, you're right. A lot of people get their politics from the news. Municipal politics often get overshadowed by
Yeah.
the state or the federal, right? But it's very interesting. I did jump onto the Henderson City website. They do have the election listed for 2024. They didn't have a specific date that I could find. Do you know what the date of the election is going to be?
Yeah, in June the primary happens, so we have a lot of campaigning to do ahead of time. And people always ask me, well, what does that mean? Well, a lot of it's raising money, so we can put up signs, so we can do online advertising. The voters need to know about me, and they need to know that I'm running and why I'm running for this race. And part of that is campaigning and raising funds. So I have a big campaign. My campaign kickoff is tomorrow night, 5:30 here in Green Valley Ranch. And I'm excited to really include all my family and friends in this. And I look forward to representing my ward. And really, it's a team effort. And that's what I really like working about this. Unlike the MMA world where I'm going in the cage alone, I have a whole team behind me. And it's really nice. It's nice to have all my friends and family be involved. And the feedback I've been getting is just amazing. Everybody's so excited about it. And they look forward to me representing them at the city council.
Well, I certainly wish you all the best of luck in the election with the campaign. Would be remiss if I didn't ask you a few fighting related questions since we're a fighting related website.
Yeah,
Obviously, a lot of people who are watching this are going to know you from the UFC, from the Ultimate Fighter 16.
yeah.
One of the things I want to ask you is kind of your experience on that show in particular. What are your key memories of it, and what was the experience like for you? Because I've spoken to a lot of fighters who have been on different seasons of TUF. Some
Yeah.
enjoyed it, some hated it. None said it was easy.
Yeah, that's a good question. You're right. I think the TUF experience is going to be different for every person. I think for me, the best way to describe it, it was part prison, part vacation. So there was a part of it where I was like, man, this is cool. I don't actually have to go to work today. I have no responsibility. I have no phone. I have nothing but to focus on the job at hand. And that was, fighting and training. But then on the other hand, I had no phone. I had no contact with my wife and son. And I lived in Vegas already. So I could almost see my house from the Ultimate Fighter house. So there was a time where I was like, man, I just want to go home and sleep in my own bed and get away from all these animals in the house. And so that it was two-part. It was part of it was fun, and then the other part of it was just, my God, time is just creeping along. I can't wait to go home and just actually relax for 5 minutes without waiting for someone to pull a prank on me or drop an egg on me. But all said and done, one thing I really appreciate the show is literally everybody on that show is to this day a good friend. So we all went through that experience. We all did it together, and now we're all really close still to this day.
Well, that is very cool to hear. If I recall, you won your first two fights on the show.
Yep.
You lost to Neil Magny. In
Yeah.
hindsight, what are your
Right.
take? What's your take on that loss now? Because all of a sudden not all of a sudden, it's taken him a while, but
Yeah.
he is now the winningest welterweight in UFC history. He's got more fights in the welterweight division than anyone.
Yeah, that's so true. It's looking back, I'm like, man, I was that close. I should have taken him down. What was I thinking? I should have went for a takedown. But instead, I had this in my mind that no, I got to stand and I got to beat him where he's most strong at. So that's a good lesson. So always stick to your strengths. Don't play to your weakness, no matter what. And maybe it could have went to a third round. What would have happened?
Well, you know what? You fought on. You did go to the UFC. You fought a couple of
Yeah.
times. Obviously, you then transitioned into the reality TV gig with the house flipping.
Yeah.
And I believe you actually started flipping houses while you were still a fighter.
Yeah, so our first house we ever flipped was in 2009. So I was doing both. I played the fence. I did the fighting, and then I would go work. And so I tried to juggle it all. And, I know it hurt my fight career trying to handle all these things at one time. But you know what? All said and done, I'm super happy with what I was able to get done in that time. So I've had multiple lives. I've had a TV life. I've had construction life. I was also a fight promoter for 10 years. I was always running a fight promotion. So I juggled all this stuff. And you know what? It taught me a lot. It taught me that really, if you want to do something big in life, you want to do something great, you really have to zero in and make that your first priority. So, you know, young fighters, when you guys are coming up, make sure that give yourself, say, you know, just for instance, give yourself, hey, I'm going to give it 4 years. I'm going to dedicate everything to fighting. I'm going to eliminate all distractions. I'm going to focus on training and developing myself as the best fighter I can be. I'm going to give it 4 years. And if it doesn't work, then I'm going to move on and start a different career. But too many guys try to take it on for too long, and they take it too far, and then they end up getting injured, or they're juggling too many things, and they're trying to be a fighter, trying to be a business person, and then they're waiting to see what pays off. And it just doesn't work. You have to go all in if you want to be the best fighter you can be.
Well, sage advice, no doubt. Bristol, I want to thank you for the time today. I think that's a perfect place to leave off. Best of luck in the election. Best of luck with the campaign kickoff tomorrow night.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.